Hello, this is Kay with Initiative Tabletop, and today we're going to look at a game that's a little older. We're going to be looking at Tsuro. Tsuro is published by Calliope Games, and this game is great. It is a 2 to 8 player game. It is fast, it's pretty simple, and it's fun. So let's crack it open, let's get it on the table, and show you what it's all about. Okay, so here you see a basic setup for a 4-player game of Tsuro. The rulebook is pretty simple, pretty straightforward. You will take a hand of 3 tiles, you will place a tile, you will move your pawn and any other pawns that are affected by the tile placement along their path, draw one at the end of your turn, and continue until there is only one person left standing. My favorite part of this, I love the tiles. Look at these. They're cool. I like them. This actually happens to be my favorite color too. When you draw tiles from their pile, you're going to be given pieces like this. Each one has 8 exits, entries, however you want to call them, 8 points of direction. Anytime you place them, they will correspond with the little ticks that are on the side of the board. Anytime you place them, you must follow the path from wherever point your pawn is at to the end of the available path. So, for example, this guy's going to go first, and they are going to place this. From this point, this pawn will move here. I'll draw one from the pile, and it continues to the next turn. Next player is going to place, well, that's a pretty straightforward one. Let's go with this one. So once this tile is placed, you just take the pawn and you move it to the end of their tile. They'll drop a tile and move on to the next player. There are some tiles that look like this. This tile would not be able to be placed here because this person would go directly on and off the board. The only time that a tile can be placed that will force you off the board is if you have no other options in your hands. So this is something you probably wouldn't do on the first turn. Instead, we're going to do something a little simpler. So we'll go with a straight line. White's turn to go, and they're going to place this here. Now, let's say for some reason white had actually gone here, okay? If for any reason another player places a tile that would cause 2 pawns to collide, both of them go out of the game at the same time. For example, if this tile was placed here in the center by either player, the paths would collide and both of these would be out of the game. Alternately, something else that can happen and does happen very frequently is you can intentionally send someone off the board to give yourself an advantage. For example, white player is probably going to place this tile here because their pawn will continue to move up and the turquoise pawn will be sent off the board. Anytime a player is sent off the board and they still have some tiles in their hand, these tiles get returned to the draw pile, which is still pretty big at this point in the game. If at any time a player would not be able to draw a tile, they get what is called the dragon tile. The dragon tile is really just a way to symbolize who is going to have the first pick of tiles whenever they come available. If there are 3 players still in the game, one person has the tile, the dragon tile, because they haven't been able to draw, and the person before that player goes out that next turn, their tiles get returned to the pile, which means that as the person with the dragon tile, you will then draw first from this pile. The game continues until there is only one player left on the board and all the others have been removed. So there it is. Tsuro is a pretty fast game. This would be a great filler. If you have a small group of people that you just want to play a light game multiple times with that's very replayable, then I would definitely look into this. Tsuro is beautiful, it is strategic, it does have its luck of the draw aspects because obviously you don't know what tiles your opponents have and you are taking a gamble at tiles you're going to draw. There are many times where I have drawn tiles and I've been like, well, I either send myself off the board or or I connect two paths and we both go out at the same time. Generally, that is the choice that I will make, because if I'm going to go out of the round, I might as well make sure that someone else does too. Despite the light competitiveness of this game, it is very fun. I find it to be very peaceful. The box says this game is going to take you 15 to 20 minutes. I have seen this game last as long as 2. I have seen it go up to 25. This is definitely less than a half hour at max, and that's if you're taking a long time to choose your tile placement. Being a 2 to 8 player game, this is great, I think, for anybody. I mean, as long as you have at least one friend that'll come over, or if you have a big gaming group like I do, this is a great filler thing, especially when you aren't sure what you're going to play yet. This is good. This gets the night going, and I would highly recommend this to anyone, really. The pieces are great quality, the artwork is beautiful. If you like tile placement games, if you like puzzle games, lighthearted things, this is definitely something I would point you towards. The box does say this is for ages 8 and up. I have not played with very young children, but I think this could be played with kids less than age 8. Just my personal opinion, with some guidance. The paths are pretty easy to follow and to see where they're going, and even with some minor assistance, I think that very young kids could play this as well. And with that, we'll conclude this review of Tsuro. I hope you found it interesting and insightful, and we will see you next time. Happy gaming!